His right hand gets pushed up against the glass, and that's what fractures Shea Theodore's wrist. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Dr. Stephen Wilson, and here on this channel, we analyze the science of sports injuries. So if that's the type of content that interests you, then please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. This injury did occur last week, last Wednesday, when Team Canada was playing Sweden at the Four Nations Face-Off Tournament. We're going to take a look at Shea Theodore, the defenseman here for Team Canada. He's going up against the boards here with number 10 from Team Sweden coming in from behind. Number 10 is going to lead with his left elbow right into the back here of Theodore. And what we want to look at is the right hand of Shea Theodore being pushed up against the glass, resulting in the wrist fracture on his right hand. When that impact comes from behind from number 10, we can see Theodore, he's got his left hand pressed up against the glass here as well. He's trying to stabilize himself from the contact while the puck is in his feet, trying to make a play on the puck. His right hand goes forcefully into the glass, and so much so, this is quite reminiscent of what we'd call a fall on an outstretched hand injury. The acronym for that is called a FOOSH. It is a very common injury. Typically that occurs when someone is falling onto the ground, but still going forcefully into the glass on this play would be the same mechanism as falling on your outstretched hand. So it's the outstretched hand of his right arm, his right wrist here. That is where the injury occurs due to the compressive nature of the impact coming from behind, forcing his outstretched right hand into the glass. And you can see how it kind of deviates and twists a little bit here, further increasing the impact going through his right wrist here on this play. There are a number of bones in the wrist, the carpal bones, that can be compromised, fractured on a play such as this. And we'll take a look at the anatomy screen, and I'll show you a breakdown of the wrist anatomy and the bones to see exactly how this can happen and what part of his wrist would be effective. Here we can see Shea Theodore immediately grabbing for his right wrist. He is in pain. The injury has already occurred. And then later on the play, we can see him further skating off to go for x-rays. He was later ruled out of the game quite quickly, and then ruled out of the tournament after the game as well. So we'll get the anatomy screen set up here so we can further analyze the mechanism of this injury. So with the skeletal model here, we're going to zoom in on the skeleton's right hand. So if we want to pretend the skeleton here, this is Shea Theodore, defenseman for Team Canada, going into the boards, being forced into the boards from behind by number 10 of Team Sweden. We're really zooming in on the wrist here, so we're just going to orient ourselves a bit here. So where the cursor of the mouse here is, that's going to be the palm of the hand. And then further up, this larger bone here, that's the radius. That is a forearm bone, and right beside it is the ulna. If we zoom out, we can appreciate exactly where those bones are situated. And again, we're going to zoom back in with the pinky finger right here and the thumb to the outside. So we're looking at the palm, or the anterior, the front part of the wrist here. And when Shea Theodore's, his outstretched hand goes into the glass like that, that's going to place a lot of pressure right through this area of his wrist. Most commonly the distal, or the far end of the radius, this nice curved part of cortical bone right here on the epiphysis. That is the end point of the radius. That is the most commonly fractured bone in a fall on an outstretched hand. And then the styloid of the ulna can also be avulsed off on the play. I do want to mention here though, this row of bones here, this is the first carpal row, consisting of your scaphoid, your lunate, your triquetrum, and your pisiform. These four bones here are also very commonly fractured on a play where you fall on your outstretched hand, or having Shea Theodore's wrist pushed forcefully up into the glass on this play. So again, what I was mentioning, the distal end of the radius, the ulnar styloid, that little knobby piece of bone right there, then your scaphoid, your lunate, your triquetrum, Angiopysiform here, that first row of carpal bones, those are the most commonly fractured bones in the wrist on a fallen or an outstretched hand. Which bone exactly fractured in Shea Theodore was not released in the media, but it would have been in this area, commonly an avulsion fracture, where a ligament or a tendon rips off a chunk of bone and then needs to be reattached by having the wrist immobilized. These are very common injuries. Even yesterday in my office, I saw a young man with a triquetrum fracture, and today a lady with a suspected scaphoid fracture. Hopefully Shea Theodore will make a recovery and return to action for the Vegas Golden Knights. His arm will be immobilized, and he has been ruled out on a week-to-week basis. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate your time. Please have a great night.